Alright, this is round 3 of the PACE tournament. This is Matizpl versus Burnt Custard. We have an issue right away with Matiz. We're going to find out what that's all about. No, he's okay. Matiz is here in the blue, and Burnt Custard is here in the white, and both players have started in the water, which is often not the way people are used to playing, so it mixes things up a little bit. If you're not familiar with Planetary Annihilation, this is a real-time strategy game in which you marshal the resources of metal and energy and use that to convert it into buildings and production that can make armies, and then kill your opponent. You win the game by killing the opponent's commander, marked by this strategic icon and shown by this giant robot. And here's another one of those. And I've already forgotten the numbers. Matiz here in the blue has already gotten his air factory out and is using the rapid mobility of air to scout around and try to find his opponent.
Interestingly, he's gone for a hummingbird, which is a fighter, rather than a firefly, which is a straight-up scout, just in case Custard is doing some scouting of his own.
And he lucks out and flies right to Custard's base. Not perfect luck because he got shot down in a blaze of glory. Custard went with a Navy first, so he's producing a anti-air ship, the Narwhal. And you can see that these got a couple of these fabrication boats. You can, whenever you see the strategic icons with the little outline and then a dot on them, you know that's a fabricator, and that means that that thing can really, its main job is to build other buildings. In this case, it built these metal extractors to get more metal for his economy, and then the commander was over here building energy plants to get more energy that is used to convert that metal into buildings.
Matiz has created another air factory and is not going for naval, apparently, and is getting out a few fabricators of his own. But it looks as though he's definitely going to be going air, whereas Custard will be going, a mix of naval and air.
Yep. Custard has finished building his air factory, sent out a scout rapid movement, and you can see this larger circle of information, so he gets a lot of vision. That'll make finding his opponents a lot easier with that scout. In fact, he puts out a couple more scouts.
Yeah, so hopefully he'll be able to scout Matiz within the next minute or so. And as soon as he does, I suspect we'll start to see blue bottles, although they now have a name change, I believe, orcas there, which are sort of battleships, which are ship to ship or ship to ground. They're really quite powerful over range.
And still no naval from Matiz. Matiz is actually a fairly experienced player in the real-time strategy world. He has previously competed on a professional level. I think it was in Supreme Commander.
Yeah, I think Forged Alliance is where I've heard his name before.
Yeah, Supreme Commander is the Forged Alliance expansion on that one. Couple fighters coming out for Burnt Custard, and as you can see, Burnt Custard here in the white and Matiz in the blue, and looks like he's moving straight to tier 2, an advanced air factory. The level of economy that he can get out of tier 2, as well as the force that he can have in terms of the fighting power, is considerable, but it comes at a tremendous cost in terms of resources to get to that stage.
There's also the build time as well. You see his commander assisting it, but even with the added buildability of the commander, that factory is going to take a good couple of minutes to build.
And the same sort of things going on over in Matiz's base. He is actually building an advanced air factory on the land, and he's building a bot factory, presumably to just provide some additional capabilities on land. He won't be able to move his land units off of this space very easily because it is an island and there won't be a way to path his way through the water.
Something else, we see the naval fabricators of Burnt Custard expanding really far up to the north, but unfortunately they aren't really defended very well. He only has the single narwhal there. So if he expands, there is the possibility that he will find himself at the mercy of Matiz's forces later on in the game.
And a similar thing just started by Matiz on the other side of the planet. He's got a air fabricator building more metal extractors just further and further away. I think there's a certain amount of, early time where it's just worth it to go grab the metal extractors quickly and let them last as long as they can. And then if your army expands over time, then you have the opportunity to defend them a little more rigorously.
We see a lot of economy expansion from Matiz within his own base in terms of the energy generators coming up from his Theta commander, which is going to provide him the viability of that massive assisting with all of those bot fabbers on the land. Interesting, he's getting a vehicle factory there as well. I'm not entirely sure what that's for.
Yeah, surprising choice to get the vehicle factory. Maybe he's interested in getting some tier 2 vehicles so you can shell, but I just don't feel like they have the sufficient use there to warrant all that effort. So it'll be interesting to see what he builds out of that vehicle factory. Matiz's advanced air factory is just about a quarter done, and if we look over at the other air factory, it is actually, his tier 2 advanced factory is completely done, so Burnt Custard's a bit ahead there.
He's getting out some Peregrines, which are going to be really powerful against Matiz's current air forces. There's those 5 fighters just above him. We see the Peregrine coming in and absolutely decimating all of them, almost dying itself, but you can see the power balance there between the two. Yeah,
Matiz now aware that Burnt Custard has that tier 2 factory. If you switch off the vision of Burnt Custard, you can still see the factory on Matiz's vision, so he knows what's up there. And he has turned and gotten 5 fabricators working on finishing his own advanced air in order to keep up in that race. Tier 2...
Yeah, that's going to go up.
Water factory, a naval factory being built by Matiz. The naval factories the advanced naval units have extreme range and large bombardment. They're very powerful units, so interesting to see how soon that comes out. But again, only 1 fabricator working on that right now. Similarly, the Burnt Custard is also producing a advanced naval factory. He's a little bit behind, but it looks like he's got more build power on it right now, and he's even moving in even more. He's going to have 7 fabricators and his commander on it, whereas the factory here has only 2. Looking at the overall map control, Burnt Custard having a good portion of the globe over here, though there's lots of open space. Still a lot to be claimed. This side you get a similar picture. Matiz having a great deal of map coverage on this side, still lots of open spaces as well, but there's still plenty of territory to fight over right here. Another scout comes into Burnt Custard's base and is shot down quickly, and still building.
User entered your channel.
He's got 4 of the advanced fighters, the Peregrine, and he's now starting to build his first of the gunships, the Kestrels. Kestrels are very good at fighting air to ground, whereas the fighters, the Peregrines, are very good for an air-to-air perspective. So he's also got the economy running right now. He's building his tier 2 economy. These basic energy plants generate 600 metal per second, and these advanced ones generate 5,000 per second. So getting those out is actually a huge boon to their production.
Right, I'm back in. Sorry about that. I lost connection again. I'm curious as to why we see a deep space radar going up from Custard. I'm not entirely sure as to why that exists, as neither player is going for orbital units.
And now he knows that. One of the nice things about the orbital and deep space radar is it does give you complete vision of everything that might be orbiting around the planet. And there are viable strategies where you can build orbital, get some anchors and a mining laser produced, and then assault from above. So it is possible to take a single planet game and win through a orbital strategy.
We see a battle cruiser, a Leviathan, coming out from burnt custard now. So the T2 Navy is going to be a real pain for Matiz, especially if that Leviathan gets over there, because Matiz has no naval defences, and from what I can see, no air-to-ground defences either.
Yeah, these magnificent ships have 4 turrets with 3 barrels, and you can fire a giant volley of over to assault anything kind of on the surface or land. So if that heads over to Matiz's base, it can do a lot of damage from afar and cut off his his metal supply out here. You can see that the metal that he's got there isn't particularly defended right now, even where his commander is. So that looks
He's
like
got his commander assisting that naval factory, so it's going to be going up a little bit quicker, but I'm not entirely sure he's going to be able to get a Leviathan of his own out in time, especially if Burnt Custard's Leviathan keeps on heading on its present course.
Yes, that one is coming quickly. So we were wondering what was going on with the factories on land, and it appears that they are almost entirely for macro purposes. That is to say, they're really just about generating more economy. You can see the energy plants here and the advanced energy plants, and the ability for those fabricators on land to assist the factory pumping out units. So that was what that turned out to be, was just about that. He gains a little bit of efficiency in terms of, actually he gains 2 things. One is the fabricators for air are a little less efficient. They're about 10% slower on the metal that they produce into the buildings, and they're about 10% less efficient on the energy to do so. Additionally, if you lose air superiority and a bunch of fighters come in, the fighters can like whip through a base and kill all the air fabricators pretty easily, but they can't really do anything to the fabricators that are on land. So you have to have some sort of air to ground for that to be true.
We see now the Leviathan just fired off a massive volley at a couple of unsuspecting narwhals, which were sunk almost instantaneously. He's just about to come in range of this T2 fabrication bot, and it goes away like nobody's business there.
Yeah, and kind of on the opposite side of the planet, you can see that the gunships have just taken down about 7 metal extractors over in the kind of the backside of Matiz's base. So he took a hit in economy there.
Here we see Matiz's Leviathan gets out just in time to be able to defend against Burnt Custard, so we're going to have to see massive volleys against massive volleys, lots of explosions here.
Yeah, they start exchanging blows. Matiz does have vision, and he is, Burnt Custard lost his Leviathan, and Matiz didn't really lose anything because he was firing on the advanced naval factory.
Yeah, I mean, Custard was probably trying to stop Matiz from being able to produce reinforcements, especially now that Custard also has a Stingray and 2 further Leviathans to bring up the rear, so he was trying to stifle that build power and capability to respond to his own offensives there.
A couple air battles go on to follow that up. The Stingray did quite a deal of work on the air force of Matiz, so that was very effective. And now there's a lot of production on that Navy.
Now we also see a nuclear missile launcher going up from Matiz on the island with massive build power assisting it. This could be devastating for Burnt Custard if it hits the heart of his production region.
Yeah, these nuclear missiles do a tremendous amount of damage. They do about 10,000 damage. The only thing that can withstand the 10,000 damage is the commander, but that will only leave them a couple thousand hit points of health themselves. So getting this out would be a huge opportunity. Now, if you're not familiar with Planetary Annihilation, Burnt Custard could respond to that by building an anti-nuke, and the anti-nukes are quite a bit cheaper than the nuclear missiles themselves. So you can defend them, but you then have to keep building to do that defense. And Burnt Custard's actually building his own nuclear missile at the same time. His has just started, but he's also moved quite a bit of fabrication to assist with that. And you can see that how it's moving very slowly in the green there, both under my cursor and at the lower left portion of my screen. You can kind of see the progress moving along.
You also see that anti-air turret in the background of Custard's nuclear missile there disappearing because nothing was building it. And if nothing is building a building for long enough, it starts to decay. And unfortunately, that missile launcher decayed completely.
And looking at the nuclear race here, we've got about 40% for Burnt Custard and about 75% for Matiz. So Matiz is quite a bit ahead.
Matiz just scouted the fact that Burnt Custard has the nuke, however, with a few peregrines that just went into his base. So he does know he's going to try and do that, and I suspect we might see some air in response.
Yeah, that would be a very valuable thing to do. Burnt Custard, if you look at the vision for him, nuclear is launched from Matiz. It's heading right over. If it gets over there quickly enough, it could probably beat that other nuke, and that would probably be sufficient to take the advantage, a strong advantage, and win the game.
That's definitely going to beat Custard's nuke. The question is, how much of the economical infrastructure is it going to take with it?
And in it comes, heads right for the nuke. As you can see, devastation all around that area. A lot of tier 2 economy, and the commander is quite damaged. And here come the... Oh, there's just... Oh, Burnt Custard does DG, and in fact deletes his own commander to finish it off with a surrender. So good game, good job Matiz. Really just turned out to be a race for nuclear weapons, and that is the end of round 4 for these two.
Yeah, it was interesting to see the nuclear war. Matiz was bringing out a few Hornets as well, which are T2 bombers, which could, if there wasn't enough anti-air from Custard's part, go over themselves and do a lot of damage to follow up the nuclear missile.